It's just a normal conversation where, like, you forget the cameras are even there, as long as you don't look at them. Because once you look at them, you remember.
You can look wherever you want.
Yeah.
No. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because the camera picks you up like with multiple cameras, like wherever you're comfortable.
Is it possible to bring in the chair a bit? Because you kind of have to. If
be really close.
Right now, I can't hear you. So if you
twist your chair around.
like, so is in basically you have to get your mouth up to the mic and you nearly have to touch it, kind of thing.
Yeah, your mouth.
So if you talk there now.
Sometimes I put my hands around it because I'm the worst offender at this.
Yeah, I do that too.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry.
It's all good. That's that's supposed to come off.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah. Can you talk? Will you go through? We'll just do a test. Will you do yours, Ellie?
Hello.
Hello. Will you do hello? Hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Can you say it in French? Do you know how to do it in French?
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va? Ça va bien, merci.
That sounds good. Well, you do yours.
Bonjour. Ça va?
Bonjour.
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 Come on, tout t'appelle.
Bonjour, mister. Can you do a test in yours? Whatever you want to say. It's up to you. Sure.
Just
1, 2, 3.
yourself.
Yeah.
You can just introduce yourself.
Just doing a test on the audio, kind of thing.
My name is Dominic Moore.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. And okay, so again, it's just a normal conversation. And anything, if you're not happy with it at the end, we'll just cut it out. So there's literally no stress. Like, it'd be just like if you said something in the pub, you don't have to worry because no one recorded it. Cause
How long does this go on?
40 minutes.
Yeah, about 40 to 50 minutes, kind of.
Break or
No, there's no break. So it's literally like, so you know in RT, like they do like interviews. Often like what they do is they ask questions and then they'll like cut it out and then they might take a break and stuff like. Basically, this is as if there was no cameras and we just were meeting up for a cup of tea, a 40-minute chat kind of thing, and it's just like that.
Sitting at the bus stop.
Yeah.
at the bus stop.
Yeah. So I'll just do an introduction. Welcome back to Everything from None, Ireland's most fizzy drink podcast, Fizzy Drinks. And thanks to everyone for watching. We got better at putting things back up on Spotify because a lot of you wanted to listen on Spotify. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it's good. It's good for morale or something. But then if you also want to listen on Spotify, you can also do
puppies.
that. It heals puppies. Yeah, that's actually scientific fact.
Yeah.
Scientifically true. And people keep asking for, which is funny, I noticed some people were asking us to make mugs. It was hard to think that I'd ever want to make mugs to sell. Feels a bit like, but we're going to make hoodies, and if people really want mugs, we make mugs, even though we'll make mugs. If people want to buy everything from non-mugs. And it's not done yet, but I'm going to motivate myself to get it all done, and I'm going to say it's going to be out when you're watching this. So the link to the merchandise is in the description. I'm only doing that so I will force myself to get it done before Monday. There's merchandise in the link in the comments below if you would like to support us.
There's a subscribe button down there.
There is, yeah, we talked about that.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Have it saves all the plans.
Yeah.
Cool.
So John, today I'm going to introduce today's guest, which is Dominic Moore, aka they used to call you the Tombstone Traveler on that. What was it?
RT, and what was it called? The name of that program that you were on?
Live at 3. It was a daily series that went out run by Marty Wheeler.
Oh yeah.
It was very big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Ceased in the early 2000s. Replaced by Dahi and Mara Duran.
Yeah, very good.
So why were you on the show? Was it?
Well, I suppose naturally had an interesting kind of a career to start off with. I was born in Cork.
Okay.
Raised in America for a small start. Returned to Ireland.
Yeah.
As a child.
At what age? Sorry, just to get an idea.
Talking about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Suffered a bit from poor health when I was young. I suffered from fever.
Okay.
There was a disease attributed to drinking dirty water. People used to store water in barrels and things. They got contaminated.
Was that here in Ireland?
Here in Ireland.
Yeah.
So my health was quite poor as young suffered.
Oh, wow.
With it, going to school and that, and struggled a bit with life because in general I had lost my family at an early stage, and now I was being brought to a good part of Tipperary.
Yeah.
Church Drumban. I was originally set out to be living in Thurles, but that didn't work. So I was sent out the road, as we'd say.
Yeah.
But life was tough.
Okay, yeah.
It was good. So I went to school in Roskeen National School. Excelled fairly well in school under the circumstances. Had a lot of other things to deal with, as I've already pointed out to you. I finished up then coming to the vocational school here in Thurles.
Okay.
And did reasonably well there, did the all groups that got a woodwork trade, coming from an undertaking background family. Didn't have it myself, but I had a great interest in funerals, coffins, always, and
Yeah.
Hugh's father.
Yeah.
This day, which I'm very friendly with the lads and still do a little bit with them and calls there to see them. They have a great place.
Yeah.
They set up down there in Schleveland Road, second to none, in business for 140 years.
Yeah.
So his father gave me an old shot at sand and coffins, tipping around the yard. They were making ties at the time for a company in Germany called Tiger Ties.
Yeah.
So I slotted in and was off with Billy Ryan in the hearse to going to house calls to funerals and things, and enjoyed it quite well. And
Do you remember
Yeah.
that, the crack when they were
I
making
do indeed.
I only
I
barely
do.
remember
We had a
it.
great character there, and Lotte Mercy, Father Paddy Carley's father.
Okay.
Luke Carley, with
Yeah.
Mick Cleary, and
Yeah.
several people came and went.
Yeah.
It was a kind of the place to get the jobs in the day, and it was great. And I often wonder today if we had that kind of a system, we may not have as much eruption with youth and
Yeah.
unemployment and thing. I think it would have been a great backfiller for us.
And was there many in
Yeah.
there?
There would have been about, maybe at the at peak stage, there could have been, for the summer, some reason, just have more, about 35 to 40.
Yeah.
And
What were you all doing?
there were some people cutting old timbers for ties. They were doing piecework on the coffins, so many trees.
Kieran's father was there for a while, weren't you?
I think so. Yeah, he said it for,
He didn't
for
like it, though.
a brief moment in his time.
Who?
Kieran Considine. Lara Considine.
Oh, right,
He was also in the
Yes.
army, and I think he
Yes.
found the army easier.
Yes.
You're then making
Yeah.
the time.
yes, but as I make the point,
Yeah.
you see, people came and went.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like everything, you created your own pod in a place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you knew the few you were working with
Yeah.
and few, you know. And what I even noticed to this day now, you'd meet a lot of people that have moved on. They say, God, you remember when we were blowing the yard? And you'd have to say, and who was it? Who are you? And then all of a sudden, you
Yeah,
stopped
yeah.
up with some old thing. And, you know, some old crack or someone that was there. Hadn't
Yeah.
moved on, or fortunately, a few has passed away too.
Yeah.
I'd be talking of the early 70s, late 60s.
Okay,
maybe
yeah.
50 years ago, like, you know, I was only 14 or 15 at the time.
Yeah.
Dominic, what gave you the interest in funerals and
Yeah,
obviously-
Yeah, you see, although I was born in Cork myself, but my grandparents by the name at Moore, which came from County Laois, a place called Camross.
Okay.
It's the O'Moore County, Port Laois. These three men set off walking to Cove. They had practically nothing in Laois. And two of them died on the way, and they were buried in Cashel.
Why did they set off walking? Sorry, to get
Because
work, kind
the
of.
reason being there was nothing for them.
Yeah.
But they were undertakers themselves.
Okay,
So
yeah,
they ended
yeah.
up, one of them ended up in Cove, in the workhouse.
Yeah.
And what he was doing similarly was, they used to in those days use a hand car, something like what the old county council workers used to use in the street. He was tipping the bodies into the graves.
Yeah.
In the famine, is it?
Yes, during the famine.
Oh,
So
okay.
I suppose technically,
Yeah.
this isn't something you develop, it's something that's with you. You
Yeah.
have to be brought up around it.
Okay.
And that's where I think it stemmed from.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a note to say,
Yeah.
but this is the best link we have with it.
Yeah.
it's in
You
your
know.
DNA.
Yes, you could
Yeah.
say that, yeah. And I still to this day, as I say, often call down to Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like about it though? 'Cause
It brings a sense of respect. And it also brings a great knowledge to you. And a knowledge in the sense that I would often find with Hugh now and his partners here that they might say to me, do you remember when such and such one died? And they'd say, God, I can't think. And I just have this fascination with it that I'd be able to tell them.
I can't
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it. If I say
Yeah.
that to Dominic, he'll be able to tell me the day that person died.
Yes.
The date.
Yes.
And he'll tell, you have a kind of a
Yeah.
mad memory of
I
everything.
have.
It's like photogenic. What's the
Yeah.
word for
Photographic.
Photographic.
photographic?
But the point is that
Oh,
often
Jen.
times with that, it can only consist with what you like.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
things in my
Wait,
life.
say that again. Sorry. So the as in your ability to remember it can only consist of what you like.
Well, sometimes you may shelve things and you may not want.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
I agree with
What
that.
you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what you want to remember.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
It's like a child eating a box of sweets.
Yeah,
You always
yeah.
like the ones and look for the ones you like.
But you
Yeah.
But the
remember,
memory is
Like-
the memory is a wheel.
Yeah.
but you'll remember hundreds of dates and
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'd be fairly good, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. But then you could ask me what happened yesterday.
But did that stand for you
Yeah.
in school, that memory?
It did.
Yeah.
And at sometimes I often, it's funny you should say that. I remember an incident in school we were asked to do sums, and the teacher, I don't know, was it much to his own knowledge or his knowledge?
Yeah.
He always maintained that I was copying.
Okay.
I
Okay.
could never think that how
I could remember.
I could,
Yeah.
because my late father fought in the Civil War, and he was beaten on the road, and 2 of his fingers shot off. And he was carrying dispatch messages. Those were messages that were given to people to take to the local IRA commanders. And the Black and Tans gave him such a beating, he had no notes, but he had to retain the message.
That's
why
mad.
they sent him. You could tell him, go to Sean Thomas's house, tell him, run out of there at 6 o'clock in the morning, he's going to be picked up, and give him the directions to go. Collect the bicycle.
Yeah.
You'll be driven to Citrus, maybe could be driven out across Kilmichael or Tipperary or somewhere. But they had no note.
And was
That's
this all around
mad.
Drumban, this happened?
No, this happened in Cork City.
Cork City,
At the time of the burning of Cork City.
Yeah.
So he was badly beaten. He would had no note. The Tans didn't realise that this man had such a memory.
Yeah.
Where's your note, mate? And so he had no note, so they shot him and threw him out.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that it is something that's handed on.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Genetic memory.
Genetically, genetic memory.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, somebody pointed out to me at one stage that, which I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I was never married. It's one of the things in life that had eluded me so far.
Yeah. You never
I
know.
was 65 when he got married.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Could happen. You
That's why I say at 60. I
maybe after this
I don't see
podcast.
myself out of this game
I
yet.
know.
Yeah.
There's still time
Maybe
to
after
go.
this podcast, you don't know. We have all sorts of people watching.
This is it.
You're
You
5
never
years
know.
to go.
Life
but
is
that's the way I
magical.
look at it, But
Yeah.
it could be possible that our next
Absolutely.
generation could be completely removed from that.
Okay.
Yeah, from marriage, you mean, sorry? Or from memory?
From the memory.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
It's a bit like sight failure. It can hit every 2 or 3 generations.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's interesting. I even think like people would say that partly that's to do with the internet, but I'd kind of say I think maybe that'll have a part to play, but in another 2 generations again, like 2 or 3 generations again, people will
I'd
still.
make a point to you on that. Now, when we're talking modern technology, it's great. There was a time we couldn't do this.
Yeah.
But I still think we have to go back organically. We have to sit down at the heart fires. We still have to train.
I agree.
I go calling to Hugh's father now a bit.
Yeah.
I'd often say if somebody died, I'd know them, but I mightn't know their background.
Yeah.
I'd say to him, where did they live, who they were? And up like that, he'd be able to tell me.
Yeah.
And you see, this is going back to the funeral thing again.
Yeah.
When you get close to families, you see their worst day, you see their good day, and you find out who they are.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's true, yeah.
So do you feel that part of why you're like so like attracted to like, the whole thing of like the knowledge from funeral is part of that? Like, is it like people watching? Like, do you get to learn about people?
You do, and people think you do.
Yeah.
People always say people don't think of the people that were at the funeral. It's not, it's the people that are not at it.
That's true, yeah.
Say that again, sorry. So
People that say, oh God, sure, we all know who was at the funeral, who attended the funeral. But it's the people that are not at it are the ones that they think.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
If you know where I'm coming from.
I'm not sure. Wait, that.
If you didn't go to the funeral,
If you didn't go, sorry.
if you didn't go to my funeral or whatever, like we'd all go, geez, Kieran didn't show up.
Oh, you're saying you learn a lot about someone who doesn't show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not about them personally, but you'd know that they weren't there.
You
It
would.
just
Yeah,
tells you the
yeah.
memorization of them.
Okay,
People that say, God, I didn't see Kieran or I didn't see Maggie or...
Okay, but
What?
do you know why that was hard for me to grasp? Because I think that's a rare type of thinking. I think that's indicative to the strength of your memory, because I feel like not many people would have the ability to remember who's not there, because there's 7 billion people. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like
Every face is unique. The memories are wheel. It clicks to the people that you see and the people that you don't.
that's amazing. Yeah.
It's the very same as, are you familiar with the old experience? A buckle in a wheel.
No.
The buckle is where it hits off of the axle.
Yeah.
The
I've never heard it. Yeah.
That means the wheel is on a wobble.
Oh wow, that's mad.
How we got back to that and the memory thing. That's that's how that developed.
So your dad had a good memory then.
He had.
Yeah.
But the next generation, if there is to be one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
me now.
And what about, was your dad a good runner?
He wasn't, but what he was doing was he used to do a bit of brawl boxing.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
good. Wow.
And by that I mean it's like some of those Irish fellas that went to America and places. But of course, he was at a disadvantage from 27 or 8 onwards because his fingers were taken off.
Yeah. And the story with the fingers taken off, like, it just, was there a reason why you said there was 2 specifically? Like, was that something that was common? Like you said, there was 2 fingers, was it?
No, you see, I think what could have happened now, and this is only the theory of it, he was taken off of a bicycle on the road, and I think what would have happened to him was, this is only a summer.
Yeah, of course.
They probably went to pull him off of the bike, and probably he put his hand up to a pistol.
Oh.
Trying to bring him off of the bike.
Okay.
They blew the 2 fingers.
Oh, God, yeah.
But he was about 27 or 8 when this happened.
Yeah.
That meant then boxing. Sure, I mean.
Yeah.
That's
He
mad.
couldn't box.
Was he boxing in Ireland or America?
He gave a while in the States, and he was very sort of, as we'd say in Irish terms, well got. He knew who was who, and they'd bring him to the club and say, Jesus, there's a lad down here. Now, he would bring you $50 or maybe $20 or whatever the case was at the time.
Yeah.
Take him on and we'll double the fee, and we'll get you another. It was an old handy way of, well, I won't say it was handy, but it was another way of making a living.
Yeah.
A bit going down in the trench with the shovel.
Yeah.
This guy, he's able to pay such and such a one from Pennsylvania, and he was never a bit, and this lad from Ireland. It creates another vacuum, another store.
Yeah. Have you gotten any fights yourself?
Not really, no. I did try a bit of boxing training when I was young, but would. Why I would like boxing, and looking back on my sporting life, I would say cycling and boxing are the 2 toughest sports.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Now, we tried it, but wouldn't be.
Running was your sport.
Running was my sport.
Well, how did that start off?
It started off, there was a sports up in Kickham Park here in town. It's up on the
Mill Road, yeah.
And there was a great priest here. He was a great priest called Father James Meehan.
Oh.
Yeah.
He died in about 92, 93.
I remember him,
He was a Clonmore man. But he had a great lightness for people. He had a great fondness.
Was he the lad with the trailer that used to go around with the trailer?
He was a great fondness for the travelling community if they needed
it.
And youngsters in the line of
He was very good to people, wasn't he?
He was. He was also chairman of the Kickham's hurling team from 62 to 1970. But I turned up for the sports, and they used to call them fishes in those days.
Call them what, sorry?
Fishes.
The fish.
Yeah, fish.
What? Oh, fish.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, fish. Yeah.
I suppose it's kind of an Irish word.
It is,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
An event for the people.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there was races for young fellas, and I was only 9 or 10 at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe 11. But anyway, there was a guy here in town called Tommy Maloney, an outstanding athlete.
He was in the Olympics,
He was, and he represented Ireland in the Olympics. I ran against him on the day, very well beaten by Tommy Maloney.
You are, yeah.
Yes. But there was, I think, Sean Hughes. I think there were some guys from the quarry above our Sean Tracy Avenue, Mariners was their name.
Yeah.
Sean Hughes is William's father.
Yeah, William.
We had him on.
Okay, yeah, we had him on.
Yeah, correct. You're spot on.
And
I was badly beaten now and then already.
Yeah.
But it was a sport. It was a big thing to get out to these. But Father Meehan told me anyway. He said, God, he says, stick with it. He says, you won't be, you'll get better days than this, and you'll get bad days, he said. But like all things in life, there is good and bad. And I did stick with it. So we had a club in Upper Church. And I went out, gave a few years with them, and wasn't figuring that well. And kind of was saying to me, God, this thing won't last. I'm not going to make a great fist of this. But I did. And I finished up below in Drangan, in South Tipperary, in 1974, in a county novice. And ended up in the first 3.
Oh, wow.
So things were improving then. So then I got the attention of the county board, the county athletic board. So they started putting me on county teams.
Yeah.
Got along nicely. And then I got a few trips on the Irish team.
Yeah.
Now we had moved in now into the early 80s.
So you were running for Ireland?
Yes, I
Brilliant.
I ran in Czechoslovakia. I represented them in Belgium, and I represented them
That's
in an
mad.
Irish meet in Mallow, County Cork.
That is mad.
In 87. I ran again a good Belgian lad called Roger Jake.
Okay.
And a guy called Mohammed Kidair. I ended up lining up one time with John Walker and Steve Cram.
What? I
Do you know that,
Steve,
yeah?
Steve Cram was a
Yeah.
really famous UK.
Yeah.
Really?
English
Now
fella, yeah.
again, I
you-
used the expression I lined up with him.
Yeah.
There was no chance of ever. Now, and I want to make that perfectly clear now.
But by the sounds of it, that's a fast runner to lose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Cork City Sports in the late 70s.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of line up. You know, we walked around them, I would say.
Yeah.
We never passed.
What year were you in Czechoslovakia?
I was in Czechoslovakia before the wall came down in
That's
86.
amazing.
No way.
Dushkov, the Winchester Square.
Wenceslas Square, yeah, in Prague.
But I stayed with a family out there and they were rowers. And what they used to do every morning was they'd get up and they'd get a bowl of rashers, dried rasher, and a half bottle of vodka.
Okay.
And
That's
so if you
very.
saw somebody doing that here, you'd say
They're cracked.
Yeah.
they have a problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they didn't. They went
Yeah.
off rowing, came back,
Rashes and vodka.
and we used to go
My
to
favorite.
a clubhouse there. Martina, can you
Navratilova.
pronounce the name from it?
Martina.
Navratilova?
Yeah, it was her club.
Where?
And we used to see these pictures of her on the wall, and she was kind of an icon there. And what I discovered was, I don't know how true this, but somebody told me at the time there, nobody got a pension, only somebody that represented their country at top level.
Over there.
Yeah, at that.
In sports, like.
in really in any,
Yeah, yeah.
you had to excellence, but your pension
mad.
would also be diminished from you if something
If
happened.
it felt like it under any for any reason.
I
Yeah.
found that extraordinary.
It is.
I
Yeah.
remember somebody saying, but of course they got their independence after, didn't they? I think in the late.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what year it was.
I often
but
wish
yeah,
to go
they
back
were-
to it. What I loved about it was there were some great churches built there. So a lot of the stone came from this side of the world. And the only two pop stars I've discovered were famous there was Joe Dole and Madonna.
Wow.
Wow.
Now,
gets
you wouldn't
everywhere.
put the two of them together.
No,
My, oh, my, oh,
I'd
my.
love to,
But
but
definitely,
you wouldn't.
And what was very big there was denim.
Who?
You had
Denim.
Denim.
Oh, denim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The material, like.
Yeah,
It was hard to get, I think, in
Yeah,
the Soviet Union.
The
like
only
that.
thing,
That's
the only other bad thing I'd say, if it was a bad thing, everywhere was cobbled. You had to be on
Okay.
a swivel with your ankles.
boy.
Well, Jesus, it was tough.
Good on the ankles, like.
You know,
how
it was a different.
To run on cobbles
the
is
old
horrible.
cobbles.
that is mad.
I'd say you were good to train, were you? You were very
Yes,
disciplined.
yeah, training would be my thing. No matter what time of the day, I always got up early. I get up.
What time would you get up?
I get up every morning between 5:30 and 4:45.
Still.
Yes.
Fair play.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
I remember at your birthday party, you had a birthday party
Oh,
recently.
yes, yeah.
What's your friend's name, your best
John
friend?
Moore.
John Moore. He was telling the story about, what was...
We went up to Trevor in 85, 86 to a cross-country meet in the middle of January.
Okay.
And of course, we arrived above and in a strange place. We hadn't a lot to do.
convent or something,
I
was it?
asked
Yeah.
the local lads where were we staying, and our team manager said, "Well, we're staying in the convent." Now, keep
Okay.
quiet, he said. Calm down. He said, "You're staying in the convent." So I said, "Jesus, this is unique. Long as been different, it's unique." I said, what a surprise! No race ran. Here we are staying in a convent for the first night. Could you beat it? Anyway,
No.
I'm only joking. Take it, I am. But anyway, so we went to bed. Anyway, we went out and met a few of the local clubs, and we went and they brought us to a bar, and well, of course we had no drink, but it was just to get to know where we were.
Yeah.
It turned out anyway that we came back at about 11:30. It was a
Yeah.
Saturday night. Went to bed. Of course, I still twisting and turning once 4 o'clock comes. I'm thinking of the clock getting out there. So, Jesus,
I'd be like that. I'm like that in the mornings. I'm always up at the crack of
I
dawn.
don't think
Yeah.
you do it.
Oh no, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a good early start.
No, I'm only laughing at myself now, not you.
Because you know what story you're about to tell.
Yeah, that's why you see the difference.
Still never know.
Came to about 5:30, 6 o'clock. I said, "I'll hell with this anyway. Going to get togged out." And I
Yeah.
looked out the window. There was a big lawn with a big, nice-sized field, maybe 2 acres off of it. And I said, "Jesus, I should get out and have a run around. It should help me relax me because your stomach
Yeah.
kind of gets sick when you're peak fit. It's a bit like a greyhound.
Yeah.
When you see your greyhound trembling, they're getting sick.
Oh,
They're anxious to get going.
Yeah.
The human structure is much the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're animals in our own right, and we don't see it that way at times.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went out and I started.
You're right.
I started running around
Yeah.
around the lawn, and God, it was going grand. And I went out into the field and came back in. Lo and behold, and I came back and there was a nun under a ditch. She was on her knees. And I said, oh God, I said, what will I say? Well, I just keep going. And I said nothing. I kept going. Now, this was kind of, they had the light off of the convent was around the convent. So you could actually see. But I came in off of the field into the darkness. Jesus, I saw this nun on her knees, and I said, say nothing, I just kept going. So I knew when I'd be coming back around the second time, I'd have to pass the same.
Yeah.
And now she was standing at the gap with 3 or 4 more nuns, and they were kind of shivering me like cattle into the corner. Come in. God, go in. When look at the time it is. And she kept saying, sure, we'll have the porridge on. So she started telling me, so I was just on a wind down at that stage. So I said, sorry, sister, I said, this is the way I behave at home. I said, I go out training. We didn't know what was going on. She thought I was running away when she saw me. And then I felt like saying, and for what? Why would I be running away? I said, I've been well looked after, so I had to I had to kind of put a sense of humour into it then at that point with her. I didn't want her to say that, I didn't want to show any vulgarity either about it. But anyway, so I did. I went back in, and sure, the boys were looking out the window.
He thought you were going missing. He didn't know how
man,
you
that's very
that's
good.
the story I'm coming to now. He did. He said, God, he says, and I looked in the bed. He said, and you were gone. He said, we just didn't know. Then we could see your head blown. Then we could see the nun. But anyway, that was the
That's very
story.
good.
Ross Trevor, County Down.
Yeah. And come here, why were they praying under a ditch? Was it a sacred ditch, or was it like...
No, I think maybe, and this is only my theory,
Yeah.
they get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
She probably had it was an inherited little thing, I suppose. She probably walked around the garden.
Just a nice spot.
What we call their common office. She probably knelt down to say a prayer.
Yeah,
maybe if I looked closely enough, there could have been a plaque there.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out of sight, out of mind, get back in.
Exactly.
But to finish the story anyway, I got
Understandable.
back in and we had porridge, and I eat porridge every day of my life.
No way, since.
Because the one morning I didn't like porridge.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Why didn't I like porridge? They were putting salt in it.
Oh, no.
Go away.
I couldn't. It was like sand off of the road to me. I just couldn't eat it.
Was it really salty?
Sorry?
Was it really
Oh,
salty?
it was. But I like pinch of sugar and milk
Yeah.
in it.
Wait, do you like... I've never had porridge. I'd ask you all. Do you prefer salty or sweet?
I'm not a massive fan of it, but I wouldn't put salt in.
I didn't know. Why is that
It's
so
weird,
condemned?
It was the first time I ever heard of anybody putting salt.
Yeah.
And I asked the question after.
Yeah.
Priests and people that would be in seminar,
Setups.
They said, "Oh yeah, it can happen, yeah."
It can happen. Yeah, it can.
And I listened, but
Yeah, that's
they
funny.
also tell me people can put honey in it.
That seems reasonable.
I see.
They're sane
lady
people,
at work,
we'd call them.
she was,
Cinnamon and honey.
yeah.
That's
No,
mad.
I like honey, a spoon of honey, and they say it's good for in a sup of soft water.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was my experience in the north.
And what were
That's
you wearing
mad.
running around the field?
I was tugged out in a tracksuit.
Oh, good.
Just to fill you in that there was no hanky panky.
Yeah.
No, just a normal tracksuit. Just a tracksuit. But because you were talking in the month of January,
I know.
I had a wool cap on me as well.
Yeah.
And boots. And we leave the rest to the imagination.
Exactly.
And we did quite well. We won the team award.
Yeah.
It was across country then, so they arranged through the convent that they'd put us up.
So there was a few really good runners from up around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had another guy up there. He was a Paddy Reardon, fairly, and we had another guy called Conor Corbett.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I do know him. Yeah,
I do,
yeah.
Conor actually ran in that sport abroad in Kicking Park.
Wow.
And I don't know, I can't say did he do well or do bad because he gave the whole day running.
Yeah.
You'd have to know the character now.
I know. Yeah, he was not bad for running.
But he was just...
He
just
was a
wouldn't
good
stop
runner,
running.
He was, yes,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
good now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I say
Yeah.
you could see him in one half now, you may not see him for another half of the day,
Can I ask you a question? Running so long, like what's our distance? What's the longest you ever ran? First of all, then
I ran in a 50-mile race.
Oh God,
26
Wow.
miles, the marathon.
that's mental.
I started running at 8:30 one morning and was finished at 3 o'clock.
Okay, that's mad. That's perfect, because this is
Yeah.
the question I want to ask is, what do you think about when you're running that long? Like, what?
Your mind goes blank.
Really?
The biggest trouble you can have will leave you.
You see?
You get so preoccupied about finishing that
Yeah.
you forget everything. There is a cliche in athletics that I went for a run this morning to clear the head, and how true it is.
Yeah.
Everything leaves you.
It's something about the rhythm of running. I always think there's just that, like the pounding of your feet and just like that rhythmic movement. It's
Yeah, I
so,
can imagine
like
that,
it really
actually.
takes you into another place.
It
mentally.
does, and you are
It's like
correct.
banging on a like shamanic drum or something for ages. You go into
yeah.
meditate.
You,
like,
you built a little system within yourself.
Yeah.
Like you would say things like to yourself, if I go another half mile, I do another half mile. If I go another half mile, I do another half mile.
Yeah.
You know, but then if you go out to the front, you're on your own.
yeah.
What's the first thing people start doing when they go out on their own? They look back.
Yeah.
They're beginning to realise, am I gone this far ahead? Am I that good? Who is closing on me? It also encourages what's behind you. You should never look back. But I
Really?
have to say I had a habit of doing it.
Yeah. That's
You
it.
should never look back, because the amount of momentum that your opponents will find by looking at you and
they
seeing
know
you
you're worried.
coming back, instead of you, it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
version of the poles on the
Holy
road
shit.
when you're driving and you think they're passing you.
Yeah,
not.
yeah. I can.
It's
I
an
know what you mean.
illusion. Yeah.
Because when you don't look back, it's like they accept that you know you're
That
ahead.
you're
and
ahead.
you're
They're
gonna
waiting
keep
for your
going,
kick.
and
That's
there's
so
no
true.
question, so they stop questioning it and think, oh, well, I could come second.
Very well
Yeah.
spotted, I have
Yeah.
to say. You are correct. Yeah.
That's really true.
You can play a game with one another.
Yeah.
But the model of the story is, and as I say, not great at it myself. I like to look back, and it used to give me great courage, heart. But as well as that, if you could, don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Gives the opposition or your opponents that sense, we have him now, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lion
He's
following.
worried.
He's waiting for him to quiver.
Yeah.
Once you start quivering, then.
And you ran 50, what?
I ran 50 miles in a once-off race.
Where was that?
It was in Templemore, believe it or not,
Wow.
out the road.
And where'd you end up?
I ended up, there was 5 of us in it, and only 2 was finished.
That's
5 in
mad.
the race.
Well, I'll put it this way to you. Somebody said to you now as an athlete, we'll run 50 miles. What would you say to him?
I'd say
I'll
no.
drive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I saw it as a challenge.
Yeah,
And I could well appreciate why you would say it. I often did it on my scooter bike now, and I'd say, God Almighty, did I run this?
Well,
yeah.
Did you just need to put a bit of distance between you and Templemore?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
actually, I'm in Templemore for the last 25 years. I'm working there. I'm going to retire out of Temple.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
Garda College.
Yeah,
believe it or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Is it strange now that should have...
Wait, you were in the
No,
Garda College?
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay, what's the crack? What do you do in the Garda College?
I look after the sports complex and just...
Do ya?
general maintenance.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Just nothing high-tech.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I will retire I can retire now, but within the next 4 years. I can.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's strange. I ran around it that day in the early 80s. I didn't start till 97.
Okay.
And I was saying to myself, I hope I'll never see this place again. And there you are. I'm going
Life
into it
is
every
cruel,
day,
yeah.
every morning.
Yeah.
I remember running along the perimeter of it.
Yeah.
Jesus, I hope I'll never come back here again.
Yeah.
There I are. I'm passing it every morning at 7:30.
It's
That's
God's little
mad.
joke
Half
for you.
one leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You must know half
God's
the guards
joke.
in the country from being there.
Strange enough, again, you'd think that you wouldn't.
No.
Because I'd see somebody, unless I get contact with them, like maybe, at tea time, maybe at sports or something.
Yeah.
They'd know me before I'd know them.
I know what you mean.
It's a bit like the funerals of those who don't go. There's even the one man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see him every day. I remember an incident in Limerick one time. I met those two vanguardies, or lady guards as they like to be called. And they were doing a checkpoint on the road. And I pulled up. And when you drive a motorcycle, by law, the first thing you have to do is remove your helmet.
Oh,
so that
yeah.
they see who you are.
All right.
And they were looking at me.
Yeah, remove your helmet and keep
Yeah.
your gun in your pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
In my case, I don't carry the gun.
You don't carry it.
I won't answer that now. But anyway, again, I take her point anyway. But anyway, one of them was looking at me, and the other one kind of wasn't saying anything. And
Yeah.
And I said, did you ever see me before? And they started laughing. And one of them says, she says, you've been doing the pool all your life. And she says, they knew me straight away. you know?
Yeah.
But so, and then there's the other thing of it. If you go out and you meet them, you feel sometimes you don't want to. And I don't say that for anything. No, by that I mean, you're looking at something every day.
Yeah,
I'd be often now as if I was in Grafton Street in Dublin when I might see
Oh, okay, that's
and
okay.
someone might come over to someone and say, Jesus, I hope he doesn't see me. You know, you just kind of,
know what you mean.
you know,
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to get on with it quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you're not in the, like you just it's hard. You're not in the mood for people. Maybe.
Well, no.
Is that
I
right?
would always be prepared to meet people.
That's what I was wondering,
It's just
'cause
that you're around something all day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
It's
looking at-
wild.
Is it like my father works up in Dew Valleys? He's sick of looking at rashers. Is that you kind of mean? Yeah.
Become like that night.
Yeah.
God, I'm off today. You know, I don't want to. God, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know? What I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And you up for the day, like, or do you come up every day, Sunday, like, and where do you know this? You know what I mean?
I
You want to
understand,
get on
totally.
discreetly, but
Yeah.
You'd be a good man for travelling and getting around. Before
I would,
COVID,
yeah.
anyway.
I would,
Like,
yeah.
You'd go abroad and everywhere.
I was in Holland for
Yeah.
a while. I was in. I worked for a small start an asparagus farm.
That is random.
In Holland?
That's brilliant.
Did you? How many years were you there for?
I used to go. I went for
That's so
about 3
random.
years, but you go for about 10 weeks each year. The
Okay.
asparagus
Wow.
season runs from
It's very
May
short,
to the end
isn't
of
it?
June, and the 23rd of June is their harvest day. They do have a big festival on it.
Oh, wow.
Do you eat asparagus yourself?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Yeah, it's an awful thing.
No, and again, it's like meeting the guards.
Exactly.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I have enough
I don't
of
want to
this.
see another bit of asparagus.
People we used to start in the morning at about 6:30.
Yeah.
Asparagus could be harvested 3 times a day.
What is they grow
It's a
that?
bit like mushroom.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that how quick asparagus?
Jumps up again.
Yeah,
does it?
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they grow mad.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's impressive.
And,
Fair play to asparagus.
A lot of people from other professions, like I came across 2 ladies who were nurses, and I came across a doctor and a solicitor. One, you'd be always curious to know who would be at this. You were paid by the poundage.
It's good money, is it?
Yeah, but it's not very. I wasn't great at it. Now I wasn't,
Yeah.
but I see. for
Why
some-
weren't you great at it? What was
You
the
see,
what
as-
stops you from being great at it?
You're asked to do something you've never done before, Stan.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
people are kind of born with it. I used to find for some reason ladies were quite good at it.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, you know, you'd wonder why.
Were you distracted by the ladies?
Sorry?
Were you distracted by the ladies? Did that stop you? from
No.
being great at it?
Well, I suppose you'd be often looking to see what's around you too, in every sense of the word. But you know what I'm saying. I think we're gone from one drill to the other here now. We get back into the vegetable side of things.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. What I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
they seem to be growing up doing this from a young age.
Yeah.
You know,
It's speed, it's about speed, is it?
it is, and it's what you use is something like a big fork
Yeah.
with a kind of a scraper's head on it.
Okay.
Okay.
And what you do is you kind of catch the stem like that, let the stem up through your finger, and you make a little rabbit hole with your finger.
Oh wow.
Slice down the O. But the lower you go, the heavier it's going to be. So you get more.
Oh yeah.
Wait, brilliant.
And
So
that's
if
what
you-
I found the ladies were very. As you could go on and cut the top of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the same thing when it would come to the weight.
That's funny.
That's that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, I was in Belgium.
Yeah.
Didn't see much of Belgium now, but I was in a convent there actually. I visited a convent, yeah.
And what were they like? Good.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
And were they Irish or what? No.
They were Irish in it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was a lady from Holy Cross out there. She was a Rhine Shamus
Okay.
out there, yeah. An elderly lady.
And did she know you? Did she?
She didn't know me, but she knew people around my area.
Oh,
and
lovely.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was nice for her.
Yeah. Then I was in New York. I worked in Gaelic Park.
Oh, wow.
What's Gaelic Park? Sorry, I'm not
Gaelic
aware.
Park is Manhattan College Ground. It's where the GA is based.
Oh, right, yeah.
Gaelic Athletic Association.
Okay, yeah.
And I worked in Gaelic Park for 10 weeks in 97.
Yeah.
And there was a lady who used to look after the medical side of things from out the road.
Mrs.
Crow. Teresa Crow, yeah. She'd be sister of Paddy's.
Yeah.
And she had a great way about her, this lady. She'd be well in her 80s now. She went out there in 1963
Yeah.
as a nurse. But she had a great way with all the Irish contractors out there. She used to get lads fixed up on jobs and look after them. They come up and play a bit of Gaelic.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Tipperary teams used to go out there in the 60s. The
Yeah.
National Hurling League final was played. There was the Gaelic football final of 47 was played in it between Cavan and Kerry.
Okay.
And the Tipperary Hurling All-Ireland champions, the 64 and 5, Jimmy Dial and the late Mick Murphy and late Jimmy Dial,
Okay.
their teams. John Dial of Holy Cross played in it.
Yeah.
It was a big venue like
Yeah.
Pretty well known piece of
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
she?
But
Yeah.
she had a great network out there.
She know everyone.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
She's coming back, I think. to live in
She had a house out, and when I heard the crew, I thought it was her yesterday. It was
Okay. Oh, wow.
so
That's mad.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a great way. She knew all the locals and got a lot of lads from the surrounding parishes fixed up. And
That's really cool.
yeah. What I used to do in Gaelic Park was every Sunday morning, I used to go out there at 11 o'clock in the morning and finish at 7:30 in the evening. And one of the jobs I had was splitting the oranges.
Splitting the oranges. Oh,
Splitting the
God.
oranges.
And how many?
What is that? Splitting
Sorry?
what is
For-
splitting the oranges?
It's cutting.
Quite literally.
Into square.
Yeah.
And they
Just
were
for the
put in
tea?
water. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Into 4 segments per orange, or 6, or
Yeah,
4.
yeah. Well, sometimes it's a bit
Okay.
like cutting potatoes longer. The bigger ones you might get a little more.
You might get 6 slices
yeah,
out
but
of
the general run was 4. The
Yeah,
cross,
yeah.
Yeah, they put them into something like a big jug.
Yeah.
By soft water into them. Can
Oh,
be quite
wow.
nice now.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
When we used to play soccer, the only time I ever experienced that is playing in Pickville when I was younger. The only time I ever got half-time oranges, and I knew why it was a thing when I had it. It was so refreshing. Like drink your water and then like a half-time orange. Oh my God, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's like, it gets you going.
It goes back a bit like to running as well.
Yeah.
Drinking too early isn't a great thing.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It makes the stomach heavy.
Yeah.
Water is heavy.
When you run long distances, it's really bad for your stomach. Like,
Is it?
Like it can really loosen your bowels. Quite
Why
badly.
is it bad for your stomach? Just because all that moving and shaking, like.
Yeah, it seems to
Okay.
be because
You're on the bump the whole time, haven't
all
you?
the,
I mean,
all
Yeah.
the blood is going to
and
your
she's
muscles
right,
and your lungs.
it's a juggle process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have seen it happening.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing now.
Oh God, like
People puke and
Release.
and all sorts of things.
The other
release
end.
themselves.
I had seen it happening.
Yeah.
God.
Right. These things happen, but anyway,
They do.
that's a part of life.
It is exactly. I agree.
Well, what you have to do is learn and move on.
Yeah.
and move out of the way if you're ready. Did you get that?
Yeah.
And well there.
That's good.
Yeah, I
Some-
enjoyed my time in Gaelic Park.
Yeah.
I was staying up in a place called Woodside. It was a good Irish pub.
Yeah.
Thurles man had a pub there, L.B.
Who's that?
Cleary.
All right. And to the Clearys of Fire Street.
Yes,
One of
it
them.
would be, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, God, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you carried that, like your love of the travel and stuff, you carried that in, you tied it in with your interest in the tombstones
Oh,
and
yeah.
the funeral
Yeah,
business
yeah,
and
yeah.
all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. When I did have me old free time, then I went off down to a place in St. John's in Long Island. There was a guy from Thurles went out here, I think in 1853. His name was Paddy Reardon.
Yeah.
It's called the Quarry.
I know him.
He was a boxer. He was buried in a place called Troy, believe it or not.
Okay.
And
He was heavyweight
he
champion.
was a world
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, that's it.
We were just talking about him. And
There's a
that's
plaque
so weird.
up on Liam Champions on the wall.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that's mad.
Yeah,
Paddy Ryan.
yeah.
Okay.
And this Paddy Reardon of Rossmult, that's where I was reared.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's one of the two brothers. They won all
Yeah.
Ireland's in the 1 year.
Yeah.
Counties.
Wow.
One of them won a hurling with Tipperary. They played it.
Yeah.
His brother won a football All Ireland. He was a rower. He lived in Limerick.
Yeah.
What was unique about him was they all died in the early 60s and they died in 1941. One died in September and the other died on the 11th of April.
My God.
Yeah.
One was buried in Mount St. Lawrence and Paddy was buried in Long Island.
That's mad.
Did you go down there like to see the graves? Or was that,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very simple though. You know, people would say there's miles of tombstones and you'd say, in the name of God, would you get down there to find it? They had their office, just something similar to Glasnevin above if you have been in it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But what the most important thing is when you go in to look for a grave, have the right spelling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have, and it happened me twice. That's how I can talk about it.
Yeah.
You know the way somebody
Yeah.
said, I should write down Ryan and that and then,
Yeah.
you know.
What is it? What's like? What causes your like want or desire? Like what to look for these graves? Like what do you get when you go to the grave?
Yeah.
Like?
Well, first of all, I find it very ironic to think that somebody could be born in a place. Actually, those men were born in Cork.
Okay, yeah.
But their father was an RIC man.
Okay.
Which is a what? Sorry, I don't know.
Royal Irish
Irish
Constabulary.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. And they bought a pub beside me, which is now Peter just married the Peelers years
Okay,
ago.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was their homestead.
Yeah.
And to think that this man could end up beyond at that time.
Wow.
In
that's amazing.
yeah.
And that's where you grew up as well, Mary the Peelers as well.
Well, sure, I
more or
lived
less.
near it, yeah. I'm only within, if you were a good hurler, you'd nearly hurl the ball from my yard into our yard.
Yes.
But you'd be
Yeah.
a good hurler now, you'd
Yeah.
be talking about 100 yards.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. But anyway, yeah, that was the fascination. I always wondered, you see, because in those days, you left the country, you didn't come back.
Yeah.
You can go now shopping and come back tomorrow.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's the advancement in travel. And that's why I suppose if you go back to the old days when people went out to the boats like the Cove and and said goodbye, they were never seeing you again.
Yeah. This man.
Yeah, I had that fascination to think that this man went.
Did you know about these people when you were a young lad? Like?
Oh, I did. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I would have read about him,
Yeah.
heard about him.
So you'd wonder about this
you'd
place
be
on the other side of the
inspired.
world.
Yeah. You'd wonder like what this Paddy Reardon when eloped with a local girl.
Yeah.
But I suppose a bit like the swallows on the boat, he jilted and met another one
Okay, yeah.
and left her.
Oh,
It's a
God.
sad tale, really.
Is that, yeah.
And she has relatives still living above. And when you mentioned Paddy Reardon, there was no good in him, she'd say.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, it was only the fact that our aunt went. You know.
She
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
fond of him at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Right, fair
I suppose
enough.
it was a passion, I suppose, then as well was created by people. Maybe you're supposed to get out of poverty here and they were going to a big place,
Yeah.
great place, money at your feet. And it wasn't that way for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Exactly.
he excelled fairly well he was in the hardware trade.
The hardware.
That's
Okay.
what he went at. But again, his health failed.
Yeah.
He died quite early. I think he was about 64 when he died.
Yeah.
In 1941. His brother then went to Limerick, and he ironically went into the hardware trade as well. He was in a place off of Perry Square, if you ever heard of it in Limerick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of, wouldn't be that very far away from the McCourt's area.
Yeah.
But
Angela's
Yeah.
Ashes,
Angela's Ashes, yeah. And he got in with the boat club in Limerick. He was a rower.
Yeah.
And he ended up being buried in Mount St. Lawrence. He lived in Limerick once he left. And he died quite young. I think he was
Okay.
62 when he-
How did he end up being buried there?
Well, you see, he went off and lived there, and I suppose that was it.
Okay.
That's the way people do
Yeah.
things, you know.
Yeah.
You know, again, wouldn't be my style. But then I can't say that either. My father and mother were buried in Cork, but I'm going to be buried in Thurles.
Yeah.
Because you get an affinity for an area. People know you're there. Should have my funeral back in the morning to Cork. They'd say, where the hell did this lad come out?
Yeah, yeah.
You never know.
This
You know
lad,
what I mean?
a blowing.
Yeah, well,
A blowing.
I'd be going back
That's
to
a-
where I
I
came
know,
from.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I'd be a bit of a swallow. Like,
I know,
you
yeah.
You know,
Can I
yeah.
Can I ask you, like, just, you know, it's really rare to talk to someone, you know, of your nature, is in around you seem very, like, comfortable with the whole, like a lot of people are, it's rare to talk to someone who's voluntarily willing to get to so close to graves, death, funerals, all those
Yeah.
things, because I think it makes a lot of people uncomfortable
Yeah.
to remind them that death exists. A lot of
Yeah.
people haven't sort of come to terms with that being part of life. What have you learned about, like, you know, death in that terms? Have you...
I'm laughing. I remember being at a dance one time, and I was dancing with this lady.
Yeah.
And there was a couple dancing behind me. And the lady kept coming back over behind me, and she was saying to the other lady, "That fella's mad about dead, keep away."
That's what they say about Hugh. Same thing.
And sure enough, the next night, no, nothing doing, no,
Yeah.
no, hello, how are you, no, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but look, people do, as just answer your question, people do find it a bit unusual.
Yeah. But like for
Yeah.
yourself, I'm just curious, Tab, because I'm like, you know, I think, yeah, what do you like? You've learned a lot about people who are, you know, alive and stuff at funerals. Have you, what's your connection? Have you grown a connection to death? If there's that, like, As in, have you grown more of an understanding of what death might mean to you as a more natural way of life?
I think death is very natural.
Yeah.
The one thing I would love to do is, if it ever happened to me, I'd love to die suddenly.
Okay.
And I think death is a very respectable thing.
Yeah.
And should be treated with dignity and respect.
Equally, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way we talk.
Some people are better than more about it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about the professional side of things now. I'm talking about people in general.
No, 100%.
I mean, take Hugh here now, for instance. He would see death different to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The sincerity of it, the professionalism, and how you deal with people. Because for the majority of people, it's the most hardest thing they will deal with in their life.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a lot of it,
Yeah.
but I still would respect it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think there's a lot of being that close to it. Like, you kind of,
But you shelf everything.
Okay.
You move on, and the next thing you talk about nothing, but you remember everything. Listen to everybody, but you may not learn from everybody.
Yeah.
Think of it that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yes,
That's
yes.
good.
We have a really different attitude to funerals in England. Like we don't, it's not such a big deal. And that thing where like everybody rocks up to a funeral here and like the body being like
celebration of life or whatever.
Yeah, we don't do that. Like nobody sees the body unless you happen to find it or something like that. We don't do any of that.
Yeah,
and it's funerals are quite small normally.
Yeah, actually, I think death is a kind of a thing that goes over your head a bit.
We don't, and the same thing celebrating that, like not celebrating, but
I've been
acknowledging
at funerals.
anniversaries.
Would you still get sad though when someone?
They would.
Yeah, of course. It depends on who it is, I suppose.
I know.
but there's a sorry.
There's almost like a level of disrespect. Like if you don't know somebody well and then you turn up at their funeral, people would be saying, "What the hell are they doing here?"
That's mad. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I'm a man that go to all funerals.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing to be able to say.
Have you gone to funerals like of people you don't know, strangers?
No, maybe not necessarily people I wouldn't know, but people that I feel people may not go to.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
They may need somebody. They may not have a family.
Yeah.
They may be maybe not as fortunate in life as a lot of people. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. If you're a politician, a big sportsman, a big celebrity, they all want to go. They all want to be seen below. I met Johnny so and so, and I met this. Take the person that may not have nobody.
I agree. Yeah, there's something about
and there is people like that.
Yeah,
you know,
especially as well because often at those ones, a funeral like before COVID and all that, like even a funeral only had like 4 or 5 people, like even people can, even if the person has passed or whatever, like there is something that like small, like there's showing up a big crowd at a funeral really can help the family to like get them to understand. Because it lets them learn more about the person early. That these are who their friends were. This is who their family was, and all this. And it really it can nearly give like the family or close ones to that person who's died a sense of closure or a sense of like, I don't know. It can definitely warm their hearts to understand that this person that was loved by others in the way that person loved. Does that make sense? Like
well, you see. Like celebrityism now, for instance, somebody that's take, for instance, yesterday with the great chieftain Paddy Maloney. Started his band in '63.
Okay.
Played for Mick Jagger, Marion Faithfull.
Yeah.
Did some of the big film music for Bravehearts or some of those.
Yeah.
Now, in a normal scenario, you'd have hundreds of people outside the church.
Yeah.
But there mightn't be 30 knew him.
I know what you mean, yeah.
You know?
There's people, I do,
There's certain clientele of people draws people. Like, for instance, you'd often meet maybe at a funeral or somebody would walk up and say, for instance, somebody had died belonged to you and they'd say, "Oh God, I knew your father well. God, we went to school together and we soldiered together, or we played matches together or something."
Yeah.
No, what they're telling you is that they have a link with you.
Yes, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? You see,
I actually do, yeah.
Irish way of death was celebration.
Yeah.
You died, they had a wake.
Yeah.
The wake consists of 3 nights. And the first thing you did was when somebody died in the houses, some neighbours, there was always a neighbour and a neighbour come in to lay out the person.
Okay, yeah.
That time people weren't laid out in their clothes. They were laid out in a habit,
Oh, yeah, shroud, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Yeah. Now today people are being let out in their clothes. It looks more, I think, natural. But I would have started out in an era where you put a habit.
What's a habit? Sorry.
A habit is a shroud.
Shroud, like.
And a shroud is
Kind of like, it's like white.
Oh,
Tolga.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It could be 8 or 9 feet long, but you wrap the last of it around your feet.
Okay, yeah.
The side sheet.
Oh, sorry, I know, yeah.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
anyway,
Kind of like
but the point I'm trying to make,
Like what? Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
those
yeah.
paintings of
I know,
Jesus.
yeah. I see.
the only thing people used to lay out in their clothes in those days were priests.
Okay.
And they left the boots on them.
Oh, really?
Wore boots.
Okay.
I remember a great...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember a great story told about a priest in Upper Church. He was a canon.
Yeah.
Again, it was coming up to Christmas and cold weather, and he was laid out in the priest's house. And 2 elderly ladies came in and they started crying, mad. A great man he was. And one of them turned around, she says to the other, and I wouldn't mind, he says, but she's going down to the chapel in Drumban, but she says to the other one, didn't they leave the pair of boots and stockings? And he won't feel the cow. He was laid out with a big pair of boots. You know,
won't feel the
but it was a celebration. it's
Yeah,
the old
yeah.
days. And the first thing you did, you got in 2 neighbours. They were generally never able to lay out the person.
Yeah.
Then there was somebody sent to the local pub for a quarter cask.
Yeah.
For that, it would be the equivalent of a timber beer barrel, but a lot bigger than your
Okay.
conventional keg. And the barrel was situated in the house, generally put up on a tap
That's mad.
and tapped. So you give a mug of porter to Johnny when he came in, and Paddy, and Johnny could come in 2 or 3 times. He might get to light the night. He'd have to go home for something. And he might want to meet someone else. So he had a joke coming in.
Yeah.
You didn't give ladies beer. You gave them sherry.
Yeah, was that was big.
You also put
Why was that?
they reckon, no, this is the way people thought. A lady drinking a pint, a man's drink, like, you know. A bit Pat short story. Drinking a girl's glass, the medium. You know
The medium, yeah.
Yeah.
A medium
Yeah.
pint. Or
No, it was an old thing now, you know.
Yeah.
Sure, now ladies could drink more pints than any.
Yeah.
from what I
Yeah.
see
We
now.
can really
and
hold
why
our
not?
beer.
And why
Yeah.
not? That's
Exactly.
not, you know.
We're drinking petrol and everything now.
And, well, mental spirit used to drink long.
Yeah, we do that too. Hard life these
But
days.
anyway, they used to give the ladies sherry or tea. That was
Okay.
the thing. And pipes. They're dudines.
Clay pipe.
Clay
Okay.
pipes, dudines, fill of tobacco.
Yeah.
Snuff.
Snuff. Oh,
Snuff.
I've had this bit of snuff.
Yeah.
I've
Were
tried
the
that
ladies
before.
allowed the
Yeah,
tobacco?
oh, they were.
Like-
Oh, a lady could smoke the dudine, but she
Oh,
couldn't
brilliant.
drink Guinness. She had to get sherry. And then you'd have people that come out and they'd say, oh, God, it was a fine wake, geez. Did you see the crowds? And did you see Mikey, all the drink he got? He came back 2 or 3 times. Sure, he was falling around the place. Then they'd say the rosary, and you wouldn't go away. Then the trick of the rosary was you didn't go away.
Okay.
Stayed for the rosary, how drunk you were around. It was a kind of a thing.
Oh.
You were looked upon as not respectful.
Oh, okay.
Rose.
And then you'd have lads answering the rose, and there'd be lads saying old things like, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, give me more beer, fill the barrel, haven't enough. They'd be making up the rose. They wouldn't be saying that. They just would be out with
Fill the
some
barrel.
drink. Often and not person removed in as well.
Removed.
Yeah.
For being too pissed.
There'd be an
Yeah.
embarrassment.
An embarrassment, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not.
That was
What's the most bizarre? Give us a time you've seen someone that they should have been removed or they were. Any moments?
No names, are obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
PPS numbers, whatever.
No.
No, it
No,
never
I
happened.
haven't.
But have you, even on your
no.
travels, your whole world, have you one moment where you've experienced something in life where you thought, Jesus, I've never seen anyone do that before? Whatever it might be.
I came across a guy at a funeral, currently alive and well alive. he went to film a funeral,
Oh.
and he got up on a wall to see the coffin coming towards him. A military funeral.
Oh.
It was quite nice to look at now and that, but he got up on the wall. He had been warned off not to take pictures. But he got up on the wall, but he was in the graveyard, but the road was a way lower than the ground.
Okay,
He
yeah.
got up on the ivy. And of course, the ivy was on a leech. and he stepped out.
I thought he was stepping on the ice. Oh, that's funny.
I thought that funny.
That's funny. That is right
the,
good.
The military they're
mad.
carrying the coffin.
That's
Somebody
so-
rushed out and pulled him away.
Oh, man.
He was complaining, where's my camera? All right. But me hip is up. I said, me camera.
Me hip,
all
me
right." That
camera.
was a dear camera. And there was an elderly lady walking on the road. She said, that's what you're getting out of in town, not to do that. She says.
Yeah.
See, he couldn't see the ground.
Because I've actually done nearly done
now
that.
I saw, yeah.
That's good. That's a
Other than
lovely.
that, no, I've never, no.
That's very pictured well.
No.
And it was nice that somebody got to say, I told you so.
Yeah, that's
but
what you get.
But he had been told. Not
Exactly.
now he reckoned by getting up in the ditches of it all.
Yeah, he's
running
won.
underneath him, so he probably got his picture and didn't see it.
Yeah.
His camera went
Yeah.
10 or 15 foot
That's
away
funny.
from down the road. Like
Uh,
that was,
yeah.
yeah.
Very good.
I think we're on an hour mark.
Oh, brilliant.
Like, so we finished up now. I was gone for an hour. It tells you, a fly is mad, isn't it?
Didn't realise we were an hour. But anyway, that's it. Yeah.
Well, we can say, do you have any other questions? Like, we're in no rush to go on. I just often tell the lads.
Elvis's grave. I went to see Elvis's grave. Did you see that?
No.
Graceland.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
died on the 16th of August 77.
Go away. Can you,
Too.
do you just know loads of celebrities?
That's the only day I know because I was exactly a month
Actually, I was
No,
praying
yes, it was you.
and he died.
old. He was the king.
And I remember coming in and I was talking off, and
You're
who appeared on the radio the same name was the late Phil Lynott.
Oh, yeah.
And
All right.
Brush Shields, still
Yeah.
alive, and they were paying tribute to this. But what the hell are they talking?
The king.
And he said, then he mentioned the king. Jeez, Elvis dead.
That's mad.
This couldn't happen.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was put in the same vein
Yeah.
as the death of JFK.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
came back
Really?
from school only to see people crying in a house.
Yeah.
No way.
That
In
the
Ireland?
The president of America was shot.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
And he had been here that July,
Yeah.
shot 22nd of November, 63.
God.
that's mad.
And of course, people were saying, Jesus, he'd have done a lot for us.
Yeah.
Okay. But the Irish troops were taken over to do Guard of Honour
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
Arlington Cemetery. And the great Micheál O'Hare, he was the Irish GEA broadcaster, broadcasted the funeral.
Yeah.
Television. And people said, this man is broadcasting in Croke Park. And here he's beyond in America. It was this thing about being... And now we're able to see pictures, black and white.
Yeah,
coming over
yeah,
from
yeah.
America, like,
Yeah.
People thought it was extraordinary.
Yeah. And I guess it was. It's just
But
used
look,
to it now.
But look, that was something else, yeah.
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 Can I ask you?
Yes.
Do you what do you believe happens to us when we die, given you're so close to?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know. And I think that's a question a lot of people waffle through by saying so things like, Ash, we'll all meet again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
But the
I have a strong belief your hell in heaven is here.
Yeah. I
This
agree
is
with
it,
that.
you know,
That's
I
my
mean,
thing. Yeah.
Once you go to the other side, the gates are closed. I think it's another day, another argument.
Yeah. That's,
All you can do is recall the person. Try and recall him in a good light.
yeah.
Remember our brother and sister in the good they have done that. I think that's one of the versions when you're going down in your game.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
true it is. People oftentimes will be very quick to spot the bad thing. But remember
Yeah.
for the good they have done. And believe you me, there's good in everyone.
100%.
No,
That's cool.
That's the best way I can answer.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
I love that. That's really cool. Did you find you've like learned you seem to have like you seem to have a great amount of compassion for people, for everyone in general. Did you have that before the funerals, or did you learn
but
that?
I did. I worked
Yeah.
in King's Cross one time.
Okay.
In London. I used to do a soup round there.
Okay. Yeah.
I did. and
Oh, with the homeless.
Yeah,
like,
Wow.
Yeah, homeless.
Yeah, and one thing I learned from there was the amount of our own
They're there.
that we looked after. I was shocked to realise I had known people left our own community, people that we went to school with, and we always thought they were doing quite well. And all of a sudden they'd come up and you'd see them stepping back a bit from you,
Yeah.
and they'd say to you, are you over here now? No, I'm not. I said, I'm just here tonight. I'd say like that. You know, you don't give away too much. You don't make people feel they're different. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember one guy, he came, I went to school with him, I was shocked.
Really?
Actually shocked. So he used to come in the evening for this cup of soup.
Wait, in King's Cross, this
Yeah.
guy you went to school with in
Yeah.
Ireland.
Yeah, but there was many like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I couldn't have envisaged this guy.
Poverty.
So that.
Yes.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
But so you weren't expecting him to walk in there,
No.
and you were like, "That's the guy I went to school with in
Yeah,
Ireland,
yeah,
and now
yeah,
he's
yeah,
here,
yeah,
homeless in
yeah.
London." Wow,
More so of a
that's
shock
mad.
that I came home
Wow.
And his father was in his late 80s.
Wow.
And he said to me, did I meet? Give me the name.
God.
I said, I didn't. I said, no. Sure, he's doing very well, Bianca.
Ah, that's mad.
You know,
That was a common thing in
Wow.
Ireland.
Yes.
Remember the Kings of Kilburn High Road, basically,
Yeah.
played, or that you basically had to put on a big show when you came home, that you'd hire a car. You'd save up for
It's
ages.
probably still a bit like that, I feel like.
Save up for ages. You'd hire a car. You'd buy
No
drink
way.
all around you. And
That was a bad sign.
millionaire.
That was a bad sign.
Millionaire.
we used to get them and they'd come home and they'd be going to the local pub the first night. No, put your money in your pocket. Yeah, drink that. And I'll see you tomorrow night. The next thing you wouldn't see him for a week.
Yeah,
You'd say to
yeah.
him, well, where is he? Oh, he's gone back.
Yeah. To
You know,
get more
we were
money.
after only making the splash for the night.
Yeah.
But I call it the crash landing.
Yeah.
And after
I
that,
didn't know
we
that
were
was
gone.
such a thing. That's funny.
Yeah, the boys would be saying, "Jay, be here now tomorrow night. It'll be great." But no, you never get the second night.
That's
And
funny.
It goes back to relates.
But
to
it was
what you-
sad, wasn't it, that they felt they couldn't come home and just be themselves. And
Yeah.
I remember a documentary made in the late 60s. Father McCarthy, you did the Irish program called Ryark.
oh yeah,
And he interviewed a load of lads down in Whimpy.
yeah.
It was a big building here. You had Murphy's and McAlpine.
Yeah.
And there was a big load of lads there. And a lad from my own parish appeared. And
Yeah.
we heard he was gone home.
Yeah.
He had the black suit, the black Wellingtons, and they turned down.
Yeah.
A white shirt and a black tie.
Yeah.
And the priest says to him, you're here in London now, have you a job? And I haven't, Father. He says, I haven't. He says, but sure, I'll get one. Yeah. And he says, and where are you going to sleep tonight? And I don't know, but sure, I'll find somewhere.
No way.
That man stayed in London till about the late 90s. This was 1966.
Whoa.
And he ended up in the hospital of the Assumption. That's where he died.
Wow, that's mad.
And there was a lot. You see, what happened during the 60s with the cable pulling, a lot of Irish people from small farm backgrounds, sheer amount of labourers as well, they went there and hoped that this was better. They were getting 24 and £5 a week.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
only getting 6 or 7.
Okay.
But they drank through. They bought the shirt of a Monday or of a Saturday, usually Sunday for Mass, throw it away the following Saturday to have another one for Sunday.
That is mad.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Power, yeah. They just drank the way through. But in the late 80s then, a lot of them discovered they had no pensions. And they had, I think there was a call on the Irish government to do something for them with the London Irish background
Yeah.
as well. And a lot of them didn't have pension or nothing.
Yeah.
They ended up in complete poverty.
That
A lot
is
of them, no, a lot of them did quite well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to finish up, and I hope to get. If you're, would you think you'd be up for coming on another time? This is
I
actually a
would
really good
indeed.
conversation.
And I would like to thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
most
you're very
entertaining.
welcome.
So much so that I lost track of time.
Yeah, same. It's really. That's how you know it's a good
very
one.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks again
Yeah.
for having me.
No, thanks.
Oh, really well.
Can you?
Would look forward
Yeah.
another day at another time.
We'll do it
Yeah.
again.
I think
definitely.
our.
Please God, thank you, Sláinte.
Yeah, I think. Wait a second. I'd say our audience, like, if you one thing to say to our audience that, like,
Yes.
all you've learned to, like, one thing you could tell them.
Yes.
Just one bit of wisdom, whatever it is.
I would say one thing to everybody out there.
Yeah.
Look after yourself, look after everybody. Be nice, be kind, because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, that's good.
true.
That's good. Thanks a million for doing it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a million to everyone for watching.
Next week.
You will be. Thanks a million to everyone for watching. Yeah, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that.
So with the
it's-
puppies.
It's what?
So
You had
with
to
the
save the puppies. It's also available on Spotify if you want to listen while you go running. And yeah, and there's a link for hoodies and stuff if you want to support us. What was the other thing? There was one other thing that I can't remember, so I'll probably say it next week. And yeah, good night. God bless. Look, well, sorry.
Saying Dominic, you're just looking at the TV.
What?
Oh yeah, cool.
I didn't realise.
Yeah, it's just there.
There's you.
Isn't that great?
It looks cool, doesn't it?
Right. I'll talk to you. See you next week. Thanks a million. Bye.
Bye.
The Bishop had done it.
Good.
Hey, that was a really good
Have a
conversation.
peak villa, did you?
No. Like I went training for months. Like for about 6 months, I went up there, kind of thing. Like I was under 12.